with your knee down just to protect your knee. I'm doing a few things with that today. You can just also fold over your mat if you need to. So we'll just come up to a seated position. If you do have a block, you can sit on the block just to allow your hips to rise up and your knees to relax down. Now we'll just take a moment to place our hands on our legs and roll our shoulders up to our ears, then back towards the back of the room and then down. Telescoping through the ribs, so elevating through the chest. And we'll take this opportunity to really focus on awareness. And what I mean by that is your mind and where your focus is. So I'd like you to take your awareness to your breath first. As you inhale through the nose and gently exhale through the mouth. And maybe focus on the temperature as you inhale through the nose, of how that feels, and the temperature as you exhale through the mouth. And now see if you can shift your awareness to your left hand. Maybe the feeling of the left palm on your knee. And really being transfixed on that area. And then moving your awareness to your right hand. Maybe again that feeling of the hand as it rests on your knee or your thigh. Maybe feeling that right hand get a little heavier with your awareness. And then moving your attention to the sounds in the room. And maybe the sounds that are outside the room. And this practice is what we call meditation. A style of meditation of using a focal point to focus the mind, to give it something to do so we can relax. Gently wiggle your fingers on your knees to bring yourself back into the body. And when you're feeling ready, you can gently start to open the eyes, and I will meet you in a leg out pose. So bringing the right leg out, we'll start with some side bends. So rather than directly to the front, gently out to the side, and I will start my music. And taking a big breath in, we'll reach our left hand up and exhale, stretch over towards the right hand side. So this is very early in the practice, so please take it easy because it's definitely too early to go too deep. You want to rotate that shoulder so that the shoulder is rotated inside the socket, but at the same time reaching the chest towards the roof and relaxing the neck and head. Take a few breaths here. Let your head be really heavy. If it feels uncomfortable, you can bring your right hand underneath your right cheek and actually hold your head. Sometimes feels nice. Second arm position, the left hand goes over towards the left-hand side of the room. The fingers stay active and stay off the floor. So what we're doing here is getting a neck release through the left-hand side. The more that you relax the head and you gently draw the chin in towards the chest and relax towards that right shoulder, you'll feel more of a stretch through the neck. See now if you can also create some space between the teeth so the jaw can relax. Maybe the leg can relax a little more if you're holding tension in that right leg. Third arm position, the left hand goes behind you and maybe binds behind to grab your right thigh or the back, maybe your top at the back of you, coming into a twist. And what that will do will also intensify the stretch through the neck. So if you can't bind onto the thigh, just holding your pants or your top, or just placing your hand on your lower back. And just seeing here if you can invite that head to be even heavier. So letting that right ear fall towards right shoulder, closing down the eyes and being soft. To come out of the position, place your right hand on your right cheek and use that to hold the weight as you gently come up, so we're not straining through the neck. And gently, I place my hand behind my knee to bend my leg, just to make sure we're not over activating something that's been stretched, and the left leg goes out. So out to the side, perfect. Reaching the left hand out onto the floor and reaching up through the right arm, reaching over. Again, we're rotating the chest open towards the roof rather than closing the chest down towards the floor. So the side bend on the right side should be where you're feeling this stretch. Palm can be facing towards the floor, so you roll your shoulder around. Relax neck and head a little more, relax jaw a little more. Close the eyes and bring that attention to the breath. Again, left hand can go under the face and hold the left cheek if that feels more comfortable to relax your neck. It's really hard when you first start relaxing the neck. It's quite difficult to just let go. Second hand position, the right hand goes over towards the right hand side, fingers point towards the floor, but don't place them on the floor. And then relax the neck even more and feel this strong stretch through the neck and the shoulder. Keep that right shoulder rolling up towards the ceiling to intensify that stretch. Have a play with hand positions to see which way you feel it the most. Thumb facing up towards the ceiling. For me, I feel a little more. Bringing that attention to breath, using that awareness. Third arm position, hand comes behind you, so the back of the hand is on your lower back, and then you can bind. A couple of options. You can bind by grabbing the top of your left thigh or just placing a hand on your lower back. It's like this from the back. And the more you relax your head, the more you'll feel a stretch through the neck. The more you roll your shoulder towards the roof, the more of a side bend and a stretch you'll get. Placing your left hand under the left cheek and use it to hold the weight of the head as you gently come back up to seated position. Placing your left hand behind the knee to bend the knee, and we'll come down onto our backs, moving into abs. Yay. So we interlace hands behind neck and head, have the elbows face up towards the roof, bring the knees up so they're over the hips, flex the toes. We want the shins parallel to the floor. Take a breath in. Exhale, bring the head and shoulders up off the floor, push the lower back into the floor. Exhale, both elbows to left knee, straighten right leg. Inhale back to center. Pull the lower belly down. Exhale, both elbows to right leg, straighten left leg. Inhale back to center. Exhale, both elbows to left knee, straighten right leg. Inhale back. Exhale, other side. Inhale back to center. We're going to make it a little harder this time, so wait with me. Exhale, both elbows to left knee, straighten right leg. Pull the lower belly down, squeeze the glutes and the pelvic floor. Inhale back to center. Exhale, both elbows to right knee, straighten left leg. Pull lower belly down, push the lower back into floor, squeeze pelvic floor. Inhale back to center. Exhale, both elbows to left knee, straighten right leg. Again, squeeze the glutes, pelvic floor, push lower back into floor. Inhale back. Other side. Left knee straightens. Pull the lower belly down so you suck it in and up. and inhale back to center. One more each side. Left, squeeze, inhale to center, exhale to right. Inhale to center, then lower the head and neck to floor. Keeping the knees up, flex the toes, knees out to the side of the room into frog. Interlace hands on head, take a breath in, exhale. Breath in to prepare, come up to center, and exhale both elbows towards left knee. Inhale to center, exhale both elbows to right knee. Inhale to center, exhale to left. Inhale to center, exhale to right. This is the last round. Inhale to center, hands between the thighs, 10 pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently come down, bring the knees in, just rock gently side to massage the sacrum. Little rock forward and back. If you like to do a rock and roll, you can roll forward and back until you have enough momentum to come into a tabletop position. Once you're here, we'll do some cat-cows to get that spine nice and warmed up. Take a breath in, gaze up, and let the belly fall towards the floor. Exhale, push the floor away and gaze towards the belly, tuck tailbone down. Inhale, belly drops, gaze up. Exhale, curve the spine towards the roof, push the floor away. And then following your own breath, so maybe it feels nice to go a little slower and closing the eyes. And I say this just so that you can go into your own body and feel rather than just watching what everyone else is doing and comparing yourself. Maybe little circles around the wrists. Feels nice. And we'll come into thread the needle. So we lift the right hand up, take a breath in. And as you exhale, thread the hand underneath the body, resting down onto the right shoulder. Coming into a bind, the left hand comes up and binds around the back. Maybe you can touch the right thigh. Now, there's no matter if you can't, it's just what feels good. So if that doesn't feel good, then don't do it. Gently coming back to center, placing the left hand down, using that to push you back. Other side, left hand raises up, breath in, and exhale. Thread the needle under the body, gaze towards the other side. Threading that top arm up and over, maybe coming into a bind if that feels okay for the shoulder. Gently lower the hand back down, push up to tabletop, and then downward facing dog. So hands come a bit further forward, and then we tuck the toes and push up to downward facing dog. Taking a few little movements here, so pedaling the legs from side to side. I like to walk the dog, so I bend one knee and then the other. Maybe just giving your head a little shake, so a little yes or a little no. This is just to release the neck because we have so much tension and tightness. It's a nice little invitation to be a little softer in those places. Look between the hands, option to bend the knees and jump forward or step forward. Inhale to a flat back and exhale to fold. Bend through the knees and slowly roll up. Hands go to sky. Take a big breath in and smile. And exhale, hands to heart. So let's take a moment to really set an intention for the class today. I'm going to focus on not comparing myself to anything in my other people in my life. And I'd like you to also to focus on your own practice and not comparing yourself to anyone else either. So we're going to lift the hands up, take a breath in, and exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift, so flat back. Exhale, hands to floor, and step back into a high plank. Now, in the spirit of non-comparison, I'm going to give you some options. So you can stay in your plank up here, and you can protract through your shoulders into strength, or if you want to drop down onto your knees, that's absolutely fine as well. Just taking your option here and holding for a couple of breaths. Moving that so I don't headbutt the tree. An option to come down in full chaturanga or chaturanga with knees down to the floor. Inhale into a baby cobra. Maybe lift the hands if you want to challenge yourself, or zip the legs together and lift the legs. Squeeze the glutes. Hands to floor, tuck the toes, push up and back into down dog, and get a little bit of movement into the legs. So pedal out, be a little loose, gently move from side to side, get a little bit of flow into the movement. Look between the hands, option step or jump between the hands. Inhale halfway, exhale to fold. Bend through the knees, roll up, hands come overhead, breath in. Breath out, hands to floor. Breath in halfway. Breath out, hands down, step or jump back, moving through your flow. So high to low plank. Inhale to come up, maybe upward facing dog, roll the shoulders back, maybe squeeze the glutes and thighs lift. Exhale, down dog. Pedaling out the legs here, allowing a little bit of extra fluidity in your practice today. Look between the hands, step or jump between. Inhale halfway, exhale fold. Inhale, hands rise. Exhale, swan dive to floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down. You know, step or jump back. Move through your vinyasa, so high to low plank. Maybe a one-legged vinyasa or chaturanga push-ups is to step it up. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Pedaling out the legs. Taking this moment to really feel into those hamstrings and wake them up if they've been struggling today, if you've been running or sitting at the desk, or really giving them opportunity to shorten. Use this as an opportunity to lengthen through by pushing those heels down. Inhale, the right leg rises up. Exhale, sweep between the hands, get low through the legs and nice and secure, then rise up into crescent lunge. The hips are facing towards the front of the room. Get deep into that front knee. If you want to make it more challenging, just take a wider, longer stance and get a little deeper into the legs. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. Step back, move through your flow. So high to low. Inhale to rise. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg rises up. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Get nice and sturdy through the legs. Breath in, rise up. Get deep into the thighs, a little deeper for the first one if you want to get into that right hip flexor. Hands to the floor, step back and flow. So high to low. Breath in, we come to up dog, and breath out, down dog. Taking it the flow a little quicker now. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Inhale, rise, crescent lunge. Exhale into warrior two. So the front hip is in line with the instep of the back foot. Get deep into the thighs. Lift the toes on the front foot. Gaze towards middle finger. Exhale, hands to floor. Flow. So option one-legged chaturanga push-ups or chaturanga on your knees, and meet in down dog. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Rise up, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Getting deep into thighs, pushing down the blade edge of the back foot and opening the thighs towards the right wall. So it's a hip opener. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot and flow. Taking your option that feels good for you and what is needed for your body today. And not worrying about what anyone else is doing. We'll meet in down dog. Inhale, right leg rises. Sweep between the hands. Breath in, crescent lunge. Breath out, warrior two. Breath in, reverse warrior. Reach forward and back. Hold for a moment. Let that left ear fall towards the left shoulder. Relax the neck. Come deeper into that front knee. Raise the toes on the front foot and push through the heel. Exhale, hands come down to floor. Move through the flow of choice. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Left leg rises, breath in. Exhale, step forward. Rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Breath in, reverse. Reach forward and back. Relax the head towards the right shoulder. Maybe a back traction with that right hand goes onto the top of the right hip and pushes it down to allow you to get more length without compression. Exhale, come down and flow. So high to low. Inhale, up dog. And exhale into down dog. We go through again, we add a few more. Right leg rises. Exhale, sweep between the hands. Breath in, crescent lunge. Breath out, warrior two. Inhale, we reverse, reach forward and back. And exhale into Trikonasana, triangle pose. We straighten that front leg, reach forward, maybe touch that front ankle. Trikonasana, straighten the front leg. Something that you can try here is actually if you can grab the ankle, if you can pull up gently to come from strength. It's going to activate your core. Relax your right ear towards right shoulder. Release your jaw. Suck your legs together like they're a little vice to activate. Bend through the front knee, come in extended side angle, keeping neck relaxed. There's an option here to reach that top hand behind you for a half bind. If you want to, maybe it grabs your shirt or maybe your leg. Relax the head even more. Exhale, the lower hand comes towards the floor. Raise the top hand up. Easy twist. Left hand lowers, come onto the ball of the back foot. Open to the right. Exhale, the hands frame the front foot and flow. So step back to high plank, high to low plank. Inhale to up dog. And exhale, we meet back in down dog. Inhale, left leg rises. And exhale, step through. Inhale, rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse, reach forward and back. Exhale into Trikonasana, straighten the front leg, reach forward and down. Maybe you can grab that front left ankle, reach up through the right hand. Maybe pull up on the ankle to engage the core. Relax the head. Keeping a little micro bend in that front knee is also going to protect the joint, so you can just have a play with how that feels. Pull the legs together to activate the legs. Bend through the front knee, come into extended side angle, resting on your quad. Option for half bind, reach behind you. Maybe you grab the thigh or rest a hand on your lower back. Release the head and neck. Take 2 breaths here. Exhale, left hand to floor, coming into easy twist. Pivot onto back foot, open to the left. Coming up onto the tips of your fingers or into a fist will also protect your wrists, so you can have a play with that. Exhale, hands down to frame the front foot, step back into your plank and move through your choice of vinyasa. Inhale, up dog, and exhale to down dog. Pedaling out the legs, give the head a little shake. Remember to rotate those shoulders, so wrap the shoulders around the armpits to give space in the shoulders so they're bunched up towards the neck. Maybe there's a little grip of the fingers, like a little frog grabbing onto a wall. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, knee to left elbow, hold for a moment. Inhale to rise. Exhale to right elbow, hold for a moment. Inhale to rise. Bend the knee, open the hip. Bringing that right foot towards the glutes as much as you can and that knee towards the roof. Option here only if you like a flip dog. You can flip over onto your back, raise your hips towards the roof and come into a little back bend. Just if this is something that you have done before and you like to do. And when you've had enough, come back to 3-legged dog and meet everybody else. And exhale, sweep between the hands, getting into a low lunge. Get really strong through the legs here. We're going to take it slow. Activate the toes, lift up halfway, arrow lunge. Hands behind you, push through that front heel, not resting on that front thigh. Then hands come out in front of you for extended arrowhead. I like to bring my hands together and fingers like a little pistol. It helps me get more strength in my arms. Take a breath. And exhale, rise into crescent lunge. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist over towards the right into our twisted lunge. Relaxing the neck here as well. If you do have a bind here, you're welcome to take it. Otherwise, stay as you are. And then exhale, open up into warrior two. Coming deep into that front knee. Gaze towards front middle finger. Take a breath. And on your exhale, extended side angle. So resting on the thigh, and then gently, when you're ready, bringing the hand towards the floor. Coming into a deeper version than what we did before, option is a half bind, or if you have a full bind, you can reach behind you and come into that bind now. And if you're in your full bind, you have a few more options to choose your own adventure. You can choose to come into bird of paradise, which is stepping your back foot forward and coming up. If you have been doing this for a while and want a challenge, you can also come into a bound half moon, which is actually really hard, which is lifting the back leg instead. And I still fall out of it. So just coming in whatever you want to play with. Oh, but everybody's in bird of paradise. Well done. And then when you've had enough, come down to the floor. You guys could hang out there all day, it looks like. And step back into a plank. Bring the right hand into the center of the mat and open up out over to the left. Or come onto your elbow if your wrists are sore. Or option leg. Hold for 2 breaths. Keep it strong. And on the last exhale, bring the hands down. Option for a one-legged chaturanga if you want it. Otherwise, knees onto the floor. Move through your chaturanga. Breath in, up dog. Breath out, down dog. Beautiful. Pedaling out the legs. Letting the head shake a little bit. Loosening that jaw if you're holding onto tension. Inhale, the left leg rises. Exhale, knee toes. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, knee to left elbow, hold. Inhale up. Exhale, knee to right elbow, hold for a moment. Inhale back. And then exhale, we're going to bend the knee and open the hip. So we try to keep the shoulders even here. Often it's really, what wants to happen is that shoulder wants to open, so the shoulders are uneven. We're trying to keep that opening in the hip for this one. So try and bring that foot towards the glute and bring the knee towards the roof. Option for flip dog if you want it. Flipping onto your back, opening your heart. Exhale, coming back to 3-legged dog when you've had enough. And then sweep between the hands. Getting into a low lunge, take a breath, get nice and deep into the legs. I'm going to take it slow to come up, to come from strength. Lift the toes on the front foot, breath in, and then rise into arrowhead. Push through that back heel to activate through the glutes and also through the hamstrings. Inhale into arrowhead, pistol grip forward. Raise that belly off the front thigh if it's resting there like mine was, cheating. Inhale into crescent lunge. You have to catch yourself cheating too. It's like it happens. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale to twist towards the left. So we're coming into a twist. Hands are at heart center, and you're pushing gently into them to create a type of vice to come into more of a twist, letting your neck and head be heavy. So that right ear falls towards right shoulder. Just watch your balance because it can affect it. Inhale, we open up into warrior two. Get deep into front thigh. Check your alignment. I have to actually get my own hip. This is what I do, which might help you. I actually get my hands and actually open my hips because they're tight. They generally I end up like this in a warrior two. My knees in. So bring the knee out and bring yourself a little deeper into the warrior two. From here, coming into extended side angle. So option one, resting on the thigh. or hand to floor. Come into your half bind or your full bind if you have it. You all seem to have it, so come into it. Relax neck and head, look towards your front foot. Because you did it on the other side, I'd recommend coming into your bird of paradise on this side so you're even. And once you get up, you have a little play with starting to straighten your leg. Look at you guys, freaking gurus. The more you laugh, the more you want to fall out. And when you've had enough, gently come down, as elegantly or non-elegantly as you wish. And hands come down to frame the foot, come back into plank. Left hand goes into the center of the mat and open up towards the right for your half, for your side plank. Option to lower the knee or come into the elbow if that is a bit too intense for you tonight, or raise the top leg if you're feeling feisty, and hold for one more breath. On the exhale, hands come down, option of one-legged chaturanga or on your knees, come through your flow. Inhale, up dog, roll shoulders back. And exhale, into our down dog. An option for child's pose here if you want it, or a drink of water if you need it. As we catch our breath. Look between the hands and walk your feet towards your hands when you're ready. You can stay in your child's pose for another breath if you want. We're coming into a squat when you're feeling able and ready. So you can bring your hands together and use your elbows gently on the insides of your thighs to open up your legs. You seem like you're all okay to get your heels on the floor, which is great. So we can stay in play here. We'll start with one of Vicky's specialties, Birthright from Forest. So the right hand comes down, and the left hand is going to come into the inside of the left thigh to traction through the hip. So the right ear comes towards the right shoulder. As you push into that hip, you feel a really nice opening and also a straightening through the spine. Now, if you're really low, you'll need to come up a little bit to feel this, because if you're really low, you're just going to be crunching through the back and the shoulders. Exhale, come back to center. Take a breath in, hands to heart. And exhale, left hand comes down, right hand goes onto the inside of the thigh as you straighten through the arm and relax the left ear towards the left shoulder. And have a little play. Everybody's body is different, so it might not feel as good for some people as others. I like to have my feet quite wide on the floor. Inhale, coming back to center, hands to heart. So who did that feel nice for? Put your hands up if it feels good. Yeah, you're like not so sure about it. It gets a little bit of getting used to, but once I'll keep doing it. I think over the month you will find the nice zone. Yeah, it's just the name, isn't it? So I'll show you something else you might like a little more. So the right hand comes down and the left hand comes up. Relax the right head toward the right shoulder. Maybe a bind, so it comes behind you. It looks harder than what it actually is. Hands come around the back and bind, relaxing the head down towards the right shoulder. Now the next part, for those of you who may have done Baby Bird of Paradise with me before, you'll know where I'm going. So I'm going to walk my left foot right underneath my body and put the heel on the floor and come up onto, my left foot right underneath my body. I'm coming up onto the ball of my right foot. I'm going to put my weight into the left foot, and through the bind and holding my leg, I can start to rise up. This is just an option. You do not have to take it. It's just if you want to play with a bind balance. Looks super scary, but the more you practice it over the month, you'll probably get there. And when you're ready to come down, you can. Or just go to the other side. And if that's too freaky for you today, just stay with the bind and that's fine. So the left hand comes down and the right hand up. And maybe you can bind the hands behind you, maybe not. If not, just stay with working, opening the shoulders by moving into more of a twist. There's always an option to take. If you do want to come into Baby Bird of Paradise, that right foot comes underneath the body because it's going to take your weight. You come onto the toe of the left foot, and then you gently start to put the weight into the right foot, and the bind is going to hold your leg Yeah, look at that. You got it. Good on you, Craig. Hopping around, you'll get there. That's good. And coming down. Harriet's just a good. She's awesome. And coming down into your squat and closing your eyes. And all of these things are just being playful. So it's not about like, did you make it today? Did you not? It's all just about experiencing your body and having a play. So not taking it too seriously or judging yourself or being critical. And we'll put the hands on the ground. If you want to come through crow, you can. Otherwise, just step back into plank. If you want to do crow and jump back, you can do that. And then move through your flow, high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale into down dog. Moving through the legs. Closing the eyes. Using this opportunity to breathe. Inhale, the right leg rises up. And exhale, sweep between the hands. We're coming into hips. So placing the left knee down, I personally like to pad up the left knee for this. If you don't have a pad, just fold over the mats. That works well as well. So with this one, getting deep into the hips here, and we'll come up, interlacing the fingers onto the quad, pushing down gently and moving that hip forward. So what can happen when you start to do this is you could start to open the hips to the side. I want you to keep your hips square to the front of the mat. You guys are all doing it perfectly. Well done. Now this is feeling through the front hip flexor. Tilt the tailbone down. Exhale, hands to floor, and then we'll come into a half split. So up onto the heel and straighten the leg and gently bringing the chest towards that leg. The gaze can just be down so the neck is neutral. Inhale back into a low lunge. Open up, maybe hands rise if you want to use that gravity to push you a little further. Otherwise, hands on the front quad will make it a little bit more restful. Exhale, hands to floor. And inhale, we're going to come back into our half splits. Exhale back into our low lunge. Aero lunge, for those of you who know what it is, you know what's coming. For those of you who don't, we're going to come up into our lunge again, but we're going to push into the top of that back foot. And through strength, we're going to rise the knee up just a little bit. So we're using the glutes to raise the leg up, but we're staying low. We're not going high because this is using the glute on the other side. Just raising up for 3 breaths, maybe hands up. It should be hard. And exhale, hands to floor. Then the knee comes down last so we can take it gentle. Moving that right foot towards the right side of the mat, come into lizard. So if you have a block, coming down to any level comfortable, maybe on your block. If you can, the elbows on the floor. But it also is fine to have your hands on the floor and your arms straight as well. Doesn't matter what version it is, as long as it feels okay for your body. Letting that neck and head be heavy again. So seeing if you're holding on to any tension there. And for me, just so that I'm not comparing or being competitive, because it is in my nature, I close my eyes and I breathe and focus on myself. Gently coming up onto the hands, coming into our flying dragon. So we're coming out onto the outside of the right foot, gazing over the right shoulder. Do it this way so you can see. And gently, I like to come onto the balls of my fingers or into a fist, or just bend in the supporting elbow so that I'm not crunching through my shoulder and my joints. And maybe if it feels okay, if you want to reach back and grab your back leg, it's quite a big stretch for the quad. This is only if you're really flexible and you feel okay to do this. Just be mindful, it's deep, it's also a back bend, so you want to be careful of your back. Look over that right shoulder a little bit. One more breath. Keep that bend in that left elbow to keep it coming from strength rather than dumping. Exhale, release the leg without letting it flick back, so nice and controlled. Come back to center, half pigeon. So walking that right foot over towards the left. Look behind you, walk that back leg out nice and straight, and start to come down. If you are falling towards the right-hand side, you can bend that right knee and just do it with a bent leg. That's fine as well. If you want to get more into the hips, keeping the hips even towards the front of the mat will help you intensify the stretch. We'll take a few breaths here and just let ourselves be heavy, allowing gravity to just take us further towards the floor. This is a great one if you're at a desk all day and you don't get much of an opportunity to release through the legs. And 2 more breaths where you are. Using your hands to push yourself back up. We'll have a play with something. So if you want to stay in your pigeon a little longer, you can. If you want to try king pigeon. So with this one, the trick is you need to bend in, and you also need to flex your toes. So your toes are going to be a little breaks. So you're going to bend the back knee. See if you can grab the back leg with the left hand. If that feels already intense, just stay here. If you want to try a little more, you're going to come up and then see if you can balance here. If that still feels okay, then you can come it a little closer towards the body. So you bring the hand onto the top of the foot and bring it in towards the glutes. If that still feels okay, then you can come into the bind, which is the last version of the pose. But this is quite an intense one, so I'd recommend just staying here. This is really getting into your quad and hips a lot, so it's a good opportunity to stay here and focus on that first. 1 more breath. Exhale, lower that back leg and gently help it around towards the front. We'll go into a forward fold, so a half forward fold. So that right foot comes onto the inside of the left thigh. Turn this way so people can see me. And I like to move out any extra padding underneath the glutes. And the reason I do that is for my hips. Because if your hips are pointing back and then you try and go forward, it's really hard. But if your hips are going in the right direction, when you reach up and forward, it's much easier to fold. A little bend in the front knee is absolutely fine if you really tighten the hamstrings, and then just let your head be heavy and take that focus back to the breath. And if you really struggle with focusing on the breath, you can focus on sensation as well. So maybe the sensation of the stretch, or even something as simple as a sensation of your hand on your leg. Hands walking up, stacking the vertebrae on top of each other, coming into Lord of the Fish. So the leg that's bent goes over the top, and the left hand hooks around to twist over towards the right. Keeping the neck neutral, so keeping chin to chest. You don't have to look towards the back of the room, it's fine. Inhale back to center, hands come behind you, feet on the floor, reverse tabletop. So we lift the hips up and squeeze the glutes. Exhale the glutes to floor, cross your legs. If you want to do a little funky jump through, you can. Otherwise, just coming back into a plank pose and move through your flow. So high to low plank. Inhale to come up and exhale to down dog. And moving on to the other side. Inhale, raise the left leg up, take a breath in. Exhale, sweep between the hands and come low into that lunge. So lower that right knee down. If you do have your padding, I recommend you grab it, or you fold your mat over. It's just because our knees are super important, we want to look after them. Inhale, interlace fingers around and place them on your quad. So what we're going for here is we're going to gently push down on the quad and then use that power to take the hip forward. So we're deepening the stretch through the right hip flexor while we're keeping the hips straight. So not opening towards the side. That's what will want to happen if you're really tight. Taking a couple of breaths here and just allowing your shoulders to relax a little. Hands come down to frame the front foot, breath in. Breath out, half splits. So we come onto the heel of the front leg, reach the chest forward. So we want a nice straight back and exhale to fold forward. You'll have one side will feel a lot worse than the other. So just take a little of attention of what this side is for you today. Inhale, come back into our low lunge. If it feels okay, rise up with the hands to use gravity to deepen this for you, or hands stay on the thigh to make you feel a little bit more supported. Exhale, hands down, breath in, and breath out into half splits. Again, with this one, we're bringing that right hip forward, trying to keep the hips even, because what will happen is that right hip will want to go back into a twist, which will make the stretch a little easier because you're not stretching the right muscle. Inhale to come forward. Aero lunge, push into that back foot, and we're going to rise up with strength. So this one's quite a tough one. So we're going to bring our hands up over the knee. We're going to push into that back foot and raise the knee just a little bit off the floor using strength. Staying nice and low, 3 breaths. Find a point of focus that isn't moving. Last breath, hands to floor, and then drop the knee gently. Don't smack it down. And walking the hands forward, coming into lizard. So that left foot moves towards the left side of the mat. Maybe the elbows come down. And then the head and neck relaxes. And let your body be heavy. So we use gravity here to be our friend. We just let ourselves sink into the pose. So in power yoga, there's not a lot of movements where we're really passive, but in this hip section, we can just let ourselves be soft. Last breath. Coming up onto the hands into flying dragon. Left hand goes on the inside of the left thigh. Come onto the blade edge of the left foot. Gaze over the left shoulder. Keep a little bend in that right elbow. Maybe that's your edge today. Maybe you can reach behind you and grab your back foot, bringing your foot in towards your glutes and relaxing your right shoulder to your right ear to right shoulder, rolling left shoulder open. So this one's preparing you for your king pigeon. So if this doesn't feel good for you, then king pigeon probably is not a good idea either. Last breath. With control, let that foot go back behind you. Then half pigeon, walking that left foot over towards the right, coming down into the pigeon. Looking behind you, making sure that your left leg is straight. It's quite interesting. Normally, if your foot is doing any weird things behind you on an angle, it means your hips are also tight. So you want that foot to be straight and then the hips straight. Using a block underneath the left glute, if they're not straight, is also a good option. Or just bend that right knee to make it a little softer on yourself. Finding that point of just relaxation. Or maybe it's not such a relaxing pose for you, and that's okay too. If you do find it a challenge, I always feel like this pose is good for me because of all the layers of muscles that really don't get an opportunity to stretch. So I invite you to see this as an opportunity to stretch those tight muscles, even if it's a challenge. Seeing if you can release the jaw, if it's clenching or you're holding on to any tension in the face and the neck and the jaw. Last breath here. Next, inhale, pushing up through the hands and opening the chest. Option to stay in pigeon if you want, or playing with king pigeon if you want to. So to do that, you need to bend your knee a little more, activate your front toes, come up a little higher so your left glute is not sitting on the floor. Bend your back knee and see if you can start to bring it in. Now that might feel like your edge, and that's still pretty full on, so that's fine. If you want to take it a little more, place the hand on the top of the foot and just bring it in a little more. This is going to prepare you to get into that pose if that is something you want to do. It doesn't make you any more of a yogi getting into king pigeon, but just if you want to have a play. Exhale, releasing the leg and using your hand to help your leg around. We'll come into a forward fold. This time the right leg is forward and the left foot is inside of the thigh. Just removing any padding from under the glutes. So you're sitting on your sit bones. Reach high through the chest. So we telescope up through the chest. And exhale to fold forward over that right leg. Again, just observing this leg might feel a lot tighter or a lot better than the other side. My right side is a lot tighter than my left for some reason. And using that breath to inhale and lengthen through spine and exhale to fold. Last breath in to lengthen through spine, exhale, fold a little further if that feels okay. Hands walking up, stacking the vertebrae on top of each other. Left leg goes over the top of the right, coming into our twist. So right hand hooks around the outside to twist over towards the left. Keep your left hand close towards the body to lengthen through the spine so we're not hunching into a twist. And use that elbow as leverage to open the chest even more towards the left-hand side. Inhale back to center, hands behind you, feet flat on the floor. Exhale, push the hips up towards the roof, gaze towards belly, activate those glutes, push the heels into the ground. Exhale, bums down, cross the legs. If you do have the little funky jump through, you can try it. Otherwise, step or jump back into high plank. If you want to do the jump, you just jump through. Moving through your flow, option for knees on floor, high to low plank. Inhale to up dog, roll shoulders back. And exhale to down dog. Look between the hands, gently the knees come between the hands, feet on the floor, and we'll gently roll back onto our backs for a couple of bridges. Let's do one bridge. Tickle the backs of heels to prepare. Breath in. Exhale, we lift the hips up, roll the shoulders underneath the body, push the hands into the floor, and open that chest. Keep glutes activated and quads activated here. Stay here for 3 more breaths. Make them long and juicy. On your last long breath, slowly lower the upper back, middle back, and lower back to floor. Exhale, right knee into chest and straighten the left leg out. Breath in, lengthen through spine. Breath out, knee comes over the top of the body into supine twist towards the left. Keep both shoulders on the floor if you can, and maybe gaze towards right hand if that feels nice. Inhale, come back to center, straighten both legs out. Exhale to the other side, bringing left knee into chest, straightening through right leg. And exhale over the top of the body. Maybe gazing to opposite hand if that feels good, or neck can just stay relaxed and you gaze to ceiling. Inhale back to center. And taking any last stretches that you feel you need. I always love a happy baby to end a class. So grabbing the outsides of your feet, pulling them in gently towards your body and pushing your sacrum into the floor to really allow the spine opportunity to elongate and straighten. If it feels nice, a little rock sometimes feels good too. When you're ready, coming down onto the floor into your final resting pose, the best and most important pose of the class, Shavasana. Letting your legs gently relax onto the floor, getting absolutely comfortable, and giving yourself permission to totally relax. Take a big breath in together, and exhale, release. Gently now starting to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe making the breaths a little deeper, bringing your awareness back into your body and back into the room. Might feel good to inhale, reach your hands up over your head and stretch from tips of fingers to bottoms of toes. And exhale, bring knees into chest, giving yourself a big hug. When you're feeling ready, rolling onto your favorite side, using your bottom arm as a pillow, keeping eyes closed. And when you're ready, feeling like you're able to push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes remained closed, resting the hands gently on your knees or your thighs. Keeping the eyes closed to keep that attention inward into this space you have created for yourself. And I'll leave you with my favorite quote today, which is it that there is no comparison between the sun and the moon. They will both shine when the time is right for them. And I feel like in today's society, with all of this online digital age, it's so easy to find ourselves comparing our lives to everyone else's social mask. The best part of everybody's lives posted online makes us feel that what we have is inadequate. And from that breeds discontent and unhappiness. So seeing if we can convert that comparison into gratefulness, bringing your hands to your heart and finding something that you can truly be grateful for today. And by focusing on the things that we have and that we are grateful for, we are breeding happiness within ourselves. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed the class. It was a pleasure. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh, thanks, guys. It's lovely lighting in here when it's all dim, isn't it?